So for today's video, we will be talking about the parts of the canine skull. This is the nasal bone. It is the longitudinal bone forming the roof of the nasal cavity. This is the incisive bone, or also called as premaxilla. It supports the upper incisor and contributes to the formation of the palatine fissure. This is the most rostral bone. This is the maxilla. It is also called as the upper jawbone. It forms the osseous lateral walls of the face. The maxilla is the major part of the hard palate. Next is the zygomatic bone, or also called as jugal or malar. The zygomatic arc is an arc of the bone that projects laterally from the skull, forming the cheekbone. Next bone is the lacrimal bone, or also called as prefrontal bone. It lies at the medial surface of the orbit, which houses the eye. Next is the temporal bone. It lies below the parietal bone on the quadrilateral surface of the skull. This is the most ventral part of the bone. It forms a rounded prominence called tympanic bulla, which houses the structure of the middle ear. This is the frontal bone. It forms the rostral part of the roof of the cranial cavity. In cattle and pig, it forms the entire roof. In the domestic animal that possess horns, the cornual process arises from the frontal bone. Next is the parietal bone. Together with the frontal bone, it forms the roof of the cranial cavity, except in cattle and pig. This is the interparietal bone. It is a dermal bone situated between the parietal and supraoccipital. The occipital bone is the most caudal bone of the skull. It contains the foramen magnum, through which the spinal cord passes. On either side is a pair of bony prominence, the occipital condyle, which articulate with the atlas. Lateral to the condyles are the pointed jugular or paracondylar process.